conspiracy fact project here. We have at least one episode. This episode, welcome to it, entitled The Project for a New American Century. I'm really shocked how few people know about the Project for a New American Century. The Project for a New American Century is a conspiracy in plain sight. This does count as a conspiracy. Conspiracy is people plotting together to force something through which might be ulterior, okay? Summer of 1997, PNAC publishes Statement of Principles. Right, the Statement of Principles are: 1, we need to increase defense spending significantly if we are to carry out our global responsibilities today and modernize our armed forces for the future. 2, we need to strengthen our ties to democratic allies and to challenge regimes hostile to our interests and values. 3, we need to promote the cause of political and economic freedom abroad. And 4, we need to accept responsibility for America's unique role in preserving and extending an international order friendly to our security, our prosperity, and our principles. Now that doesn't sound too bad, does it? Well, unless you understand geopolitics and America's role in the last century in geopolitics. The wording of the final thing, to accept responsibility for America's unique role, America's exceptional role, our exceptional position. When we were making concentration camps in the Philippines, taking it over to try to get into Asia, we said we were promoting the cause of political and economic freedom abroad. So that's what you call a double meaning. Now, the people that signed on to this, those are the list of people that signed the Statement of Principles and founded PNAC. And I don't know, do you recognize any of these names? Elliott Abrams, Gary Bauer, Bill Bennett, Jeb Bush. Heard any of these guys? Steve Forbes or Donald Kagan, Scooter Libby, Dan Quayle, maybe at least. Donald Rumsfeld, probably. And Paul Wolfowitz, maybe. Okay, 1998, they wrote a letter. In 1996, Wolfowitz asked for regime change. In 1998, they wrote an open letter, and by then, Clinton was on board, signed the law, declaring that the official policy on Iraq was regime change, and the UN even sanctioned it. The authors of that letter were Donald Rumsfeld, Paul Wolfowitz, Elliott Abrams, John Bolton. But anyway, 5 people. Only 4 of them served in Bush's administration. Donald Rumsfeld was the Secretary of Defense. Paul Wolfowitz was the Deputy Secretary of Defense and the 10th President of the World Bank. Elliott Abrams worked on the National Security Council. John Bolton was Undersecretary of what a dimwit this guy is, State for Arms Control, and eventually, holy shit, that dude for Ambassador to the United Nations. And Woolsey, who did not work for Bush, had already been a Director of Central Intelligence and head of the CIA. The result is that Clinton adopted the regime change, as I said, right? Through this project of theirs from 96 to 98, really, with the foundation PNAC marking it really going. More interesting, published September 2000, before 9/11, Rebuilding America's Defenses, Strategies, Forces, and Resources for a New Century. All right, so it says there were 4 core missions that needed to be established for the U.S. military. Get this. Defend the American homeland. Homeland. That was a new word to me. This is the first time I heard us calling that homeland. That's like some fucking Nazi term as far as I know. Not how I talk about the seas to shining seas, but okay. This is the most amazing part to me. Well, maybe the second most amazing. Fight and decisively win multiple simultaneous major theater wars. Remember, this is the quote, this is their list. Simultaneous major theater wars. Perform the constabulary duties associated with shaping the security environment in critical regions, which is basically preemptive interventionism. Transform U.S. forces to exploit the revolution in military affairs. Now, it's arguable whether or not we accomplished any of these things, but all of these things were attempted in the way they meant. Like, what I think by defend American homeland is different. We did what they wanted, and now we got scanned. They fought multiple wars. Decisively win was a bit of hopeful thinking. But I'll bet you they think, oh, it was all worth it. They think, yeah, it's all worth it. The trouble is just part of it. Now, in red here, a very interesting part. Section 5 of Rebuilding America's Defenses, entitled Creating Tomorrow's Dominant Force, includes a sentence. Further, the process of transformation, even if it brings revolutionary change, is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event in a week or two, like a new Pearl Harbor.